Well, yeah, certainly. I mean, it was our fault. We made a mistake. The spotter said it was clear. It wasn't clear, and, I didn't want to tear my car up, tear his car up either. I respect everybody, and I demand respect. And, I apologized to the guy when he came over the car, explained to him what happened, and then he took it to another level when he started calling me an idiot and whatever else. And I don't appreciate that. I'm not going to take it. I told him how I felt. I called him out. He didn't show. And so, I'm good with it if he's good with it, but I'm not going to be disrespected by no means.
Yeah, I guess I had a dinner date at Applebee's last night that I didn't find out until it was too late. It's a shame. Love their riblets and boneless wings, but...
Folks, we are back at Applebee's once again. It is your unrefined motorsports podcast. I am Brian, once again with Rob and Ashley. Folks, how we doing this week? We finally got a little bit of racing in this weekend, just a little bit,
just a tiny bit, and we're sticking with the unrefined thing, huh?
I said that's the season one, unless somebody comes up with something better.
No, I'm that's it. Sign, seal, deliver. Yeah, just a tip though when it comes to NASCAR racing. Yeah. Just a little Saturday night special there. But yeah. How are you doing, True Love, over there?
I'm here. Here I am.
Still thinking of a new Instagram handle.
Still here, just thinking about it. 24/7. That's all I think about.
One thing that was thought about a lot this weekend was the weather in L.A., which led to the first ever moving up of a race a full day.
Has this ever happened in NASCAR history?
Not like this. Like maybe an hour or two, I think, is the most, if that, it's ever happened.
Right. I've experienced that, and I do enjoy when they move it up an hour for weather. But I can't think of another time where they moved up by a full day. It's crazy.
I think it was if you paid attention to the weather not just before the weekend but after Saturday, I mean everything that they said was going to happen happened as far as insane rain,
no choice.
So it worked out for the best. I mean, unfortunately, the race was a lot shorter than it was supposed to be, and not as much ceremonial shit happened. But it was free for the handful of fans that actually showed up, which was cool. And the race itself was fine.
I mean,
it was all expected.
It looked pretty well attended, all things considered. There's probably about 30,000 people in there. What it looks like.
No, they said between 10 and 15.
Oh, that was it. It looked like a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean. It's a big stadium, but I mean, for a race moved up a full day, it was supposed to just be the heat races that day. I mean, it was what it was, but the race was fine. It was the Ty Gibbs show until the last restart when he got shuffled back and started the first major storyline of the year with the rivalry of two drivers that we both don't like. We all don't like, I think, is Denny, or not Denny, Joey and Ty Gibbs.
Joey Logano's wig versus Ty Gibbs' tail for dominance.
There we go. That was on the tip of my tongue.
Snake versus Mongoose. Fucking
NASCAR's modern day Snake versus Mongoose.
It's gonna be good, man. I'm actually all here for this. I don't know if y'all remember this or even said on the show. Towards the end of last year, even before the sadness in Ty Gibbs' life, I kind of started warming up to him just a little bit. I still think he's
this moment.
I still think he's a dick, but it's funny when he's a dick, and he's a very good race car driver, and he's not afraid to fuck with people. And for whatever reason, it's just I really enjoy giving him a free pass, and that's going to continue in 2024. I didn't even really think that what went down was all that egregious at that stage in the race, like running somebody up like that. And he used Joey up, no fucking question.
They had a history. That's the thing. Is apparently there were a handful of incidents at the end of last season, and I read I don't know if it was in the Athletic or one of the other papers, but
Ty brought 15 items into the 10 item or less checkout line at the fucking Piggly Wiggly, and
I guess they actually Joey had called him and they'd made a truce, and he tried to show his respect and let's just move on at a clean slate, and apparently that got wiped away very quickly.
Even funnier now. So.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, for Ty, for Ty to start to get the public really on his side, to pick a fight with Logano is a great way to do it.
Yeah,
so
I'm all for it.
Yeah. We'll see how this year goes.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the race too. It was really nice to see qualifying actually really mean something this time, and I guess it would have been that way anyway with the heat races because not everyone could make the show. But it was cool to watch everybody go out there and do hot laps and see who was actually going to make it and who didn't. And of course, you can't really take any information away from this for the coming season. But it was cool to see Justin Haley and Rick Ware out there in that big, beautiful Walmart machine, running nice and fast, and that was cool.
Kind of surprised me.
And Josh Williams. Just missing the show. I think there's 22 cars that got to make it, and I think did he make the cut and then he got bumped by Blaney taking the promoter's option for being the champion?
No, I think he was like the first car out.
But still,
basically,
he just about made it, and I was really excited to see that. And definitely some Winston Cup shit going on there. We got champions provisionals, like big time cars going home.
Well, the story was the fact that the track lost grip with each qualifying round, like as it got colder, and that's why those guys, Christopher Bell, who was fast all fucking practice, he didn't make the race. Like, it doesn't make any sense. So
if there's one takeaway that you can apply to the rest of the season, it's the rule that I don't remember if we talked about it or not, but the qualifying rule where they've changed the 2 rounds to set different sides of the row.
Yeah.
This is why. Yeah. This is a perfect cartoon example of why they do this in dirt track racing and why they're going to be doing it in NASCAR, and I think it's a good decision. So for that reason alone.
Well, I guess with the weekend finally come and gone, I think it's pretty much safe to say that this race is not happening next year, at least not in LA. And the big talk with everyone in NASCAR is what happens next. Personally, I don't give a shit, and I'm sure Rob's going to feel the same way because it's not a race that actually counts for anything. I think if they made it like an actual prestigious race with only pole winners, that'd be kind of cool, but I doubt they're going to do that.
Yeah, and again, I said it on the show last week. I'd like to see some sort of exhibition event down in Florida, involving one of the tracks. Like, go and take the Cup cars to Smyrna and do the pole thing there. Do that. That'd be awesome. Or just do it at Daytona like they always have, because, as Dale Jr. said, and, I think we're all Dale Jr. fans here, I fucking agree with him. Just do it like they used to. It's 12 cars, send them out there for like 20 laps, and whoever wins, and that's it. Speed Weeks has started. Congratulations, this full field nonsense where we're folding cars in half, or I don't know, what's it cheaper to destroy a race car or drive everybody across the fucking country and destroy a race car there? Like, I don't know. Like, I like the Clash. I want to see him go to the Coliseum and do the stadium thing again. I'm actually a big fan of it, which probably surprises some people, but it's just fucking Bowman Gray shit. I love it. And I think that it would be beneficial in the schedule elsewhere, or just make it the All-Star race if you're going to do that. Though, I know people have been talking about doing like actual short tracks for that too as being a nice concept, which I'm more on board with because they need the money more than the fucking LA Coliseum. But, I like the show, and I'll be sad to see it go, to be honest, if that's the case. It was a fun experiment, but just do it later in the year, and you won't see me cry about it.
NASCAR's tried a few different things over the last handful of years, and, dirt didn't work. This did, and it'll be back in some way.
What do you think, True Love?
I think you or Fullies end up in talking about 200 miles per hour, so...
Well, you get that part right. I got a 6 milligram in here. I'm cruising, baby.
I'm like struggling to keep up over here.
I'm also trying to get this in with the time frame we have. So.
For sure.
Also, real quick, apologies to everybody. I know the show was supposed to be out yesterday. I got stuck in New York. It's a whole thing. But we're here now, and that's what's important. So take it away, True Love.
What's the question?
How do you feel about the Clash and all that?
Oh, I wanted to stick around. I mean, I think it's run its course at the Coliseum. I'd like to see it go back to Florida somewhere. I don't care where, just somewhere in Florida.
Yeah.
Pole winners only.
It's a cool preamble, and it has heritage, so why not?
There's options in Florida. It doesn't have to be Daytona. Like, you can do other things. But I think it would make sense just for the whole industry. And the other thing, too, is Junior was the one really pushing for it, but there were a few other people that said the same thing. When you have these split up weekends like this, and then Daytona, it just becomes like almost a normal race weekend. It really does nothing to build the storylines and build anticipation for what's supposed to be the biggest race of the year.
Yeah.
And, those of us who are diehards, we're going to be excited no matter what. But if you want to continue to increase the fandom and get people excited about it, that's the type of stuff you need to go back to. And,
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I guess it remains to be seen if NASCAR's made a bunch of good decisions and gone back to its roots in certain senses, and they're not going to make every right decision, but we'll see. They could easily turn this back to a little more of an old school event, but still have some newer elements to it. But
you know, the other thing that I was thinking while I was watching the race was, why, if we're gonna do these events that are meant to bring in people who do not watch NASCAR, and their first exposure to it is, again, nothing wrong with the track or the venue or the format even on its own, but like, this is not what NASCAR really typically is. You know, we're stopping to have a fucking Machine Gun Kelly concert in the middle of the race and all. They're not really seeing what a NASCAR event is, and the spectacle of it is, it's intriguing. You know, it definitely, like, I started going to NASCAR races every time I could after I actually got to go to one in person. So that is its own thing, but I don't see why we can't just, you know, bring this concept and make it more adaptable to a full points weekend, like they did in Chicago, because Chicago accomplished the same fucking thing. So
yeah.
Also, I want to give a shout out to NASCAR on Fox for giving the most god awful coverage straight out of the gate this year.
But
They
once
missed
again,
every single incident on track with their bumper cams.
Well, that's another thing that kind of pissed me off. And like, we're bringing new fans in, and again, this is an event for people on television because there's nothing else besides flag football going on, right?
Yeah.
And part of, you know, they're making a concerted effort to present personalities, which we'll get into in a second with the Netflix series and all that. But we have Ricky Stenhouse going over during pit stops and ripping down John Hunter Nemechek's window net. And Fox filmed it. It's not the camera crew's fault. He's grabbing his helmet in the middle of the fucking race, giving him the what for. And that didn't make it into the public view until like an hour after the race. Like, what the fuck? Like,
yeah, there were cars wrecking at the checkered flag. Didn't see that. We saw somebody's fucking crew chief kind of reacting. I think it was it Denny's crew chief? It was like, oh, we won. It's just complete buffoonery.
I don't get it. And again, like, shout out to Kevin Harvick. I think he's a really insightful analyst, and I'm excited to see him.
Good.
And you can tell he's a little green, but you know, he's leaning on Mike Joy, who is, you know, can only do so much, and Clint, who's doing his Clint thing. And you know, when action moves that fast, you really got to stay on top. And I don't think he had what he needed to get it done, but. Yeah, Daytona will be different, I think. I hope. Who knows? But yeah, how do you miss
500 miles of bumper cams?
Yeah, so bad. On a track that's like the length of a fucking like high school track, you know?
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, that happened, and now we've got an off week until Daytona, which next week will be our big preview episode. Obviously, I couldn't give a shit about the Super Bowl this weekend, but I'll probably be watching the Days of Thunder. I do a yearly season preview where I watch that every year, so that'll probably be what I do this weekend to hold off.
Nice. Well, there is a lot of racing happening, and I'll talk about it in the septic tank in a second here. But racing season is in full swing down in Florida. I'm watching the World of Outlaws RIP qualifying as we speak down in Volusia. There's a lot of, Volusia, excuse me. There's a lot of late model racing. The Lucas Oil Series just lives in Florida for the month of February, and they've been running. And yeah, there's a lot going on if you have the right links to watch it. And the NASCAR Modifieds are back this weekend, so...
Yeah, so there is some stuff, but, you know, no NASCAR.
Ask us for DM us and ask us for the special secret link we have, and we'll happily pass it along if you're looking for a racing fix this weekend in between the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Just don't narc on it.
Yeah, just don't fuck it up. Don't fuck it up.
And let's see here. Rob, I guess we got to talk about an event that's happening in your neck of the woods. There's some racing concerts got announced this weekend.
So shout out to the Black Flag podcast, because they're the ones who drew my attention to this. They're a great New England podcast. If you want to know what late models in Maine are all about, you can check them out. They're fucking hilarious. And they go to Speed Weeks too, so their coverage is good there. But they posted this thing within an hour of each other. Both Gateway and Loudon announced their concert lineup. Of course, Gateways is they have a big music festival in conjunction with the Cup race. And you've seen that race. It looks fucking nuts. It is packed to the gills. I think they sell out like 80,000 seats every single time. Maybe that number's a little high. I don't know. But it is packed to the gills. And they have a concert to go along with it. Ludacris, Riley Green, fucking Big and Rich, which whatever. Like, that's definitely some legacy acts.
Likes them.
If you're 40 years old like I am, those acts mean something to you. But, you know, maybe not so much to some younger fans and all that. But meanwhile, Loudon was announcing that Dirty Deeds, a tribute to AC/DC, is coming back for like the 36th year in a row to play the Saturday night concert. And it's just like,
Didn't you see them front row last year?
I've seen them front row like 5 years in a row, dude. Like, they don't do anything. And they used to have concerts at Loudon. You know, I saw Cheap Trick there. I know Travis Tritt played one year. Unfortunately, I wasn't there for that. But, like, and big stuff, too. Like, they had fucking Dan and Shay there one year. That band OAR, which is trash. But if you like them, good for you. That's a big act, right? They bring in thousands of people, and they played. And it's just after the pandemic, and I think there was some deal with Loudon where they were going to hold the giant country fest there, and the town got pissed off. Mm. And they also run a dirt track at Loudon at night against the town's wishes. So maybe that has something to do with why they don't bring big acts in. But it's just...
It's once a year.
Maybe it doesn't move the needle at all for ticket sales. I don't know. But, like, it certainly... looks pretty shitty when on one side of the country they're bringing in, you know, at least acts that people know about, and then over here we're getting the same. I bet you that fucking Poison cover band is playing on Friday night too, which guess what, I'll fucking be there. But like, Jesus, can you guys just try a little bit? They got Luke Combs at the fucking Daytona 500. You know, it's just like,
I want to say I saw like Matchbox 20 and Third Eye Blind or something.
Yeah,
there you go. So
for the 600, I'm excited about.
Yeah, see, I'm with you on that. See, the music is for us old folks, right?
now
They get there early and sit in our seats for no reason.
Does Tim Duggar just busket some of these races?
I mean,
well, I think Tim was supposed to play.
He'll be there.
I think he's having some health issues or something right now.
Oh, that's
Jeez, now you have me shit on him when he's sick.
That's too bad. They're gonna have Tracy Chapman come in on a fucking zip line at Daytona. It's gonna be awesome. Like, yeah, I don't know, man. It's just, I personally don't need that. You know, Loudon is isolated, so again, maybe it doesn't move the needle, but can we at least fucking try?
Yeah, no cover bands.
A little bit. Just, they brought Loverboy in once. That was fine. Just do it again. Who gives a shit? Like, or at least like put more shuttles out there if you're gonna or if you're gonna save $30,000 by booking a band or whatever. Like, just get a shuttle to the X lot that's a little more frequent. That's my request. But.
Well, there you go. Hopefully it works out for you, Rob.
Yeah. I'll be there though. I'm telling you.
So this news segment, it's pretty media heavy. The next topic we've got to touch on is the news that Dale Jr. does not currently have a contract to announce for NBC later in the year. He says he's working on it. I feel like a few people had were clutching their pearls over this. Like, this is a somewhat normal thing that happens in like sports and other media forms. Like, their half of the season isn't for another 6 months. Almost. I don't know when exactly their coverage starts, but they've got time to sort something out. And it'd be insane to lose Dale Jr. as an announcer. I mean, he's more or less the actual voice of NASCAR. So
I think the only thing that really sticks out to me about this that could be a big game changer is that 2025 is when the new media deal comes in.
Yeah,
and I could see
them
a
little.
Kind of him holding out to see where that lands a little bit. I don't know. Who knows? Like,
I guess it depends on what else he is going to do in his career. Like, is this a thing where, okay, maybe he's really looking at buying a team in 2025 is the year for that? Does he go to Amazon and only announce 5 races instead of half the season? That could kind of make sense.
So sad.
Yeah.
There's I guess a lot of cards to fall over the next few months, and we'll see what happens.
Well, here's something that I doubt this is the case, but you know, in a world where major media corporations are looking to shave money off of their own personal budgets, you know, could we see a switch to I don't want to say the name of the series because they pissed me off with the whole Andretti thing, but it's a letter and a number. Maybe they do it like they do, and there's one media team that runs the entire season, and you just buy the entire broadcast wholesale and then put that out in the world. That is a possibility too. But no matter what, I think it would really suck if Dale Jr. Wasn't involved in the television production and being in the booth in particular. He just brings so much enthusiasm, and he's one of the only really well-known figures that transcends the sport itself. Yeah. And it would really suck to not have him up there.
And he's just getting his broadcasting career started, and you can tell that he loves it and is genuinely invested in
Yeah,
that.
he's one of the only new guys that kind of makes me feel like I'm watching, Benny Parsons or something in the booth like back in the day. He has that same energy, and I think he knows he has to bring that. So yeah, it would suck if he decided to hang it up and not come back. I'd be shocked though if he didn't find himself somewhere in the landscape.
I would find that almost impossible. I don't think that happens. But anyways, we'll find out in the coming months.
Speaking of Dale and his media company, can we get Jordan Bianchi a fucking bigger sheet for his fucking podcast?
And an iron?
Good God. So the Teardown is, of course, a new Dale Jr. property. It's a great podcast, in my opinion. I don't know if you guys listen to him at all, but they generally, they'll post something almost immediately after the race is over. It's really raw nerve reaction from two pretty well-respected journalists, Jeff Gluck and Jordan Bianchi. You've seen Jordan Bianchi in his vampire costumes across any number of fucking NASCAR documentaries. He's in the new Netflix series, which we'll get into in a second. But to be this guy who dresses up and takes time to pick out a pocket square, literally he's doing the podcast from his college dorm, and he just puts a sheet over his fucking Nordic track, and that's it. It just looks so bad. And I know we're doing remote stuff, and I know the Dirty Mo team is awesome. And also shout out to Bobby Marcos landing that fucking sick Speed Street production role with them. That's a great IndyCar podcast that now features Chase from the Garage Guys, apparently, because the other dude quit, which is something. But that's a good show, and that's all done remote. And those guys, they don't make me feel like I need to take a shower after I've watched it. So, Jordan, come on, buddy. You can do better than this.
Yeah, it's pretty embarrassing.
Yeah. But yeah, check it out. It is a good show, but I encourage you all to look at we'll probably post a screenshot of this shit just so you can see how gross it is.
That'll be in the post for tomorrow for sure.
Just fucking dressed to the nines with a bed sheet draped over his diecast collection or whatever the fuck it is. So it sucks.
All right, so we had a full week, folks. I'm assuming. I know Rob watched it 2 or 3 times. I got through it. Ashley, I'm assuming.
Times.
No, I haven't watched it since. But
okay. Well, I'm assuming Ashley, you got through it also. You got it. Okay.
Yeah.
So what do we all think?
I enjoyed it. I thought it was better than what was that other one? The USA.
Yeah, fight for the future.
Yeah, whatever.
I don't know. I said this last week. I feel like it's almost the same show. I think Vice, who did the USA series, is a great production company. They've done great documentaries in the past, and I think they held up to their standard in the original series. So, like I said last week, this just kind of reads as version 2 of that, just with the correct venue.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say it's the same storyline, but it is produced it's night and day as far as in the Netflix series. The intensity is there, the actual glimpse into the personalities of these guys. Yes, they're swearing, which is always cool.
Love that. Love cussing.
But just there seems to be some tension involved. There is the drama. You didn't get that sense in the USA show. The USA show was very bland. It was you got some interesting behind the scenes footage, but it did not make you get more engaged with each episode. No. Whereas I did try to reach out and try to get some opinions from non-racing fans that checked it out, and while I only got a handful of responses, everybody that watched it enjoyed it. So that's a great sign.
It's good.
And as far as who is in the show, I mean, right off the bat, no matter what you think of Denny Hamlin, as far as who he is on the track and his personality, he is one of the people that's actually leading our sport right now. Yep. As far as, he's on the drivers and teams side as far as making the right choices and right changes for the sport to get more money and make the right things happen. He understood the assignment for this show, which is the most important thing. He let them see everything. He knew how important the show was going to be. He knew that for him to get the most out of it, he had to be as open as he was probably more open than anybody, I would say. Maybe as Christopher Bell, I would say, which we'll get to him in a minute. But and even if you weren't a Denny fan watching this, it's kind of hard to not want him to win the title. I mean, if you're really Denny,
I would go that far.
If you're a real Denny hater, it's still easy to have that opinion. But I don't know. There's just there is a lot to respect. And when he says, like, he fucking earned it, he did fucking earn it. Like, you can't argue that fact. You
Also,
really can't.
who knew his dad was just a fucking short track hillbilly? You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, that guy
Jesus.
fucking rules.
Of the whole series, that revelation of who his dad is was the biggest shock to me out of
I
everything.
don't want
Like,
Denny
my
to win the
jaw
title.
dropped.
Yeah.
I don't want Denny to win the title for himself. I want him to win it for his dad.
I can see. I can
Well,
agree
I
with
still
that.
don't want him to win the title, but yeah, the revelation of his dad was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
How did you come from that man?
You've seen this man at the racetrack before. Not him specifically, but this particular type of man. Like, we all know him. We all love him. And it was awesome to see him.
They could
on
not be more polar opposites. It's like Denny has spent his life trying to be the opposite of what his dad is.
Yeah, I'll take his dad any fucking day of the week.
Yeah, I would hang out with his dad 100%.
100%.
His dad also got him to kill the "I beat your favorite driver" slogan or catchphrase that he repeated.
His dad's doing great things.
He even admitted, though, on his podcast, he's like, yeah, it's never as funny the second time. Like, it was the first thing that popped into my head. So we won't have to hear that anymore, which is good. Yeah. Now, as far as everybody else who was in the series, I mean, I think every driver that got a spotlight did fairly well. I think Ross's spotlight, you kind of got a good sense of how weird he is.
I was going to say, I feel like he probably got the best boost of knowing who he is out of this whole thing. Like, it made me respect him a lot more. And like, you hear what he is. We all have an idea what we think he is. And this kind of showed that in fact, Ross is that guy. And it made me respect him a lot, actually.
It
didn't have that effect on me, but
No?
No.
What did it make you feel?
I thought he still came across very like robotic and boring and bland. I don't know. I just still couldn't connect with him.
So
and they also had that weird shot of his toothbrush with like some gunk falling out of it.
I don't know if I remember that. Yeah. I will say it
that did happen. Yeah.
It showcased his dedication to like actually driving, but I also think it really highlighted how kind of aloof and awkward he is, and he still hasn't really figured out how to present his personality. Yeah, I hate to say it, but oh my god, oh fuck, I hate to say this too, but the shot when he was doing the hand-eye coordination thing, and then it cuts to just his face and his eyes are in two different directions. Oh, poor fucking guy.
I love him. I love him now. He's my.
I guess the only other person I want to touch on is Christopher Bell. One, I think it was a great intro to his presence in the show, them asking about him making it to the Final Four again, and then telling him like, we had no plans to have you in the show, and he was just like,
yeah,
how about that?
Yeah, I know.
And I think that this show gave me a lot more respect for him as a driver. However, his intensity is a little bit frightening at times. Like when he crashes out of the the final race, and you go in the trailer, and I thought that was a very cool moment to get on film. But also, his girlfriend's crying, and he's just like staring ahead. Like, he's not pissed, because it's not one of those things where it's like, I mean, he probably is pissed, but it's not like he got wrecked out. It was a mechanical failure. There wasn't anything he could do about it, but like, there was just this scary intensity in his eyes that I wonder if he's the type of dude that goes out and screams, or like has his own rage room in his property or something to get some of that out, because great driver, and definitely was a nice glimpse into his personality.
In his defense, again, he's a guy a lot like Larson or Chase Briscoe, who likes to go out and run sprint cars, and Christopher Bell is arguably as talented as Kyle Larson. That might ruffle some feathers out there, but he's fucking incredible on dirt, and he's incredible in a cup car too. And I feel like now that he doesn't have that outlet because Gibbs doesn't let the guys go out and race, this is all he does. He doesn't get to win anymore, or his chances to win are way more focused on this. So to have that slip away when you are sacrificing a big part of what makes you who you are, I can imagine that being pretty tough to deal with, because I know I would probably be losing my shit internally too.
It would be interesting to see him get some of that freedom back and see what he could do, because I wasn't paying attention to dirt racing like I am now when he was around. So if he is as good as everybody says he is, which I believe you, I'd love to see it again.
I mean, the Larson, that was my favorite thing about the championship last year was the Larson Bell element because they've been chasing each other for years.
Yeah.
And now they're at the top level of American motorsport, at least for what people can see. And it's a damn shame we got robbed of seeing that battle. Though it was, I like the Ryan Blaney championship, and I thought it was cool to see him in this series as well. It definitely painted him in a cool light, I thought. So
he didn't need the help, but it was good. I mean, he's such a likable guy, and he's relatable, and like seems like a fairly decent, normal person, which you don't always get with some of these guys. But we can't leave Booty Barker out of this conversation. I would say he was the surprise hero of the show.
Yeah.
I would say he was
the new Gunther Steiner, folks.
Listen, you can say that all you fucking want. I'm gonna say he's the new Harry Hyde, aka Harry Hogg, for people who don't know who Harry Hyde is, but they're almost one and the same. But I really wonder, especially since he only became Bubba's crew chief the last part of the season, I wonder if this combination is going to pay off. I feel like it is. I mean, Bubba's been on the upswing the last half of the season, and with a dude like Booty there, like, man, he's fucking awesome. Like, he's a hard ass and tells it like it is, and every second he was on the screen, you couldn't stop staring at him. So
he's certainly responsible for a lot of the success that 2311 has had in such a short time. So I think people getting to know who he is. He's a veteran. He's been around a long time. So it was kind of cool to see him get that airtime too.
Yeah, it was great, and I think I don't know if I've heard a bad review of this show from anyone at this point. So I hope it happens again next year. I think it would be really good for the sport, and I would love to see it again. I'd love to see even a couple more episodes if possible. But what we got was awesome.
I think most fans are smart enough to realize that this isn't for the diehards. Kind of like the Clash. Like, this is not.
It doesn't have. That's the thing. It doesn't have to be.
Yeah, there's plenty of content for us out there. And this is to get these people in front of an audience that would otherwise have no idea what's going on, and it accomplishes that tenfold. So.
But the thing is, you should enjoy this if you're a diehard also, because we can watch fucking 20 hours of racing in a weekend, but we still don't get some of the things. In those hours of footage that we get in the show.
You know how NASCAR fans are, though, bud. Like, there's always something to complain about, right?
Hey, listen,
I'm just saying that there's no reason to complain about this. It's good. No. It's good. Just watch it. And if you haven't already, like, don't go in expecting that you're going to be able to see. Well, that's not true. You do get to see Kyle Larson in a sauna, which is pretty funny. He didn't expect that. That's probably going to be the only time he was in the show until he locked in. They kind of had to shovel him in there, too, which is pretty amazing. But I guess he already has his own show on Fox and shit, so there's enough Kyle Larson out there in the world for people. But yeah, it's cool. I'm glad it's there. I hope it comes back too.
All right, well that wraps up the main part of the media chatter. But Rob, we got to get to the septic short tank before we move on to our video of the week segment.
Yeah, we do. There's a lot of racing going on. I already talked about some of it. So, again, they're racing down in Florida right now. You got everything. World of Outlaws, Lucas Oil late models. Asphalt shit kicks back up this weekend at New Smyrna. That's always fun to watch. Chase Elliott's running the ASA race down there at Smyrna. So there's all kinds of shit happening. And
has the modified race happened? I saw practice yesterday, but I don't remember seeing any features or anything.
The pavement one, the NASCAR mod race?
No, the dirt modified.
They're running features now. So there's been a lot of shit at East Bay. In fact, Ken Schrader won a race last night, so congrats to him. 69 years old, going out there and whooping some ass.
Uncle Kenny was there too. I saw that.
Yeah, Kenny Wallace, he's out there running too, and there's going to be plenty more of that to watch. The Dirt Car Nationals have begun, whatever it's called now. I don't really follow the modified world too much, but they're in full swing down there at Volusia, as well as World of Outlaws and Lucas Oil late models. Ricky Thornton Jr. winning a lot of shit, which is to be expected. Nothing has really come out of that whole Jonathan Davenport RTJ thing, which is to be expected because they're grown-ass men. It is what it is. It'll pop up around Eldora or something, I'm sure. Tim McCready got a win. That was cool to see. Hudson O'Neill's won some. It's going to be a good season.
That race that Tim McCready won, I saw a clip of some guy losing it into turn 3 and getting the car almost backwards and somehow pulling it out. I don't know who it was, but it was amazing.
Yeah, it's been great racing. And again, I was excited to see the son of Barefoot Bob go out there and get him a win. His wins have dried up a little bit over the past couple years, and it was cool to see him go out and get that done, even though I am an RTJ fan. They're racing tonight, too, and for the rest of the week. And like I said, if you want the special little link to this whole world of short track racing, just send us a DM and don't share it with anybody. once you have it. Let us
Yeah,
handle
because it
that.
already got shut down once by, I don't know if it was wrestling people or somebody else, but it got shut down once and magically showed back up, so be careful with that.
Again, like there's going to be a lot more news coming out over the next week because there's so much happening down in Florida leading into Speed Weeks. But one big thing that happened that pissed a lot of people off was that High Limit announced that they're doing a fan access deal. So after hot laps and qualifying conclude, anyone with a ticket, not just a pit pass, is allowed to come down into the pits and take a look at the cars and smooch Casey Kane right on them lips, which has pissed off a lot of people. Like a lot of like actual teams and shit are like, what the fuck? You can't do that because, you know, in fairness, that is the one time where you have to get your shit together. Like you're hammering on the car, you're getting things set up to go out and run heats. So I mean, 10,000 Darfs coming down and crowding Kyle Larson's car is gonna, you know, it's gonna be a bit of a problem when you're trying to push to the staging lane. But I don't know. We'll see. I see both sides of it. I'm excited personally as a fan. I think it's cool to have that access. I mean, I have seen a miniature version of that at the dirt track at Loudon.
Be cool about it.
Yeah, just this is what we were saying. Just don't be an asshole. You'll be fine.
Don't bring your die cash.
Like that's the time when you guys go down there. Like, not that I ever really talk to drivers, anyways, but like before the race, you can kind of get closer and again talk to drivers, crew members. That time, just walk around. Don't even fucking talk to anybody. Just look at stuff.
Exactly.
That's all you gotta do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Two more pieces here. I'll keep the short track segment nice and quick here this week since we don't have a ton to talk about just yet. But again, we will next week. It'll be a full 8-hour segment. I'll just go on Instagram Live and run my mouth. But Justin Bonsignor, NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour champion, thrice, is going to be running an ARCA race at Daytona. This is his first big step into that part of the NASCAR ladder. I was a little surprised to see that he would choose Daytona, but he's going to be down there running, so that's pretty cool. A lot of New England fans happy to see that. And the last thing I'll bring up is, you guys know who Bubba the Love Sponge is? You ever heard of that guy?
Oh, yeah.
I know you do. I know you do from the Hulk Hogan sex tape. But anyway, Bubba the Love Sponges are kind of a shock jock type radio host who he has a show on YouTube now or Facebook Live or whatever. It's a pretty good interview, but he had Tyler Erb and Devin Moran on his show. And it is, you want to talk about raw, unfettered access and hearing drivers just say whatever the fuck they want. I implore you to check this out. It is nonstop laughs for 2.5 hours.
You're going to have to send me that because Bubba is a real piece of shit,
yeah.
But I'm interested to hear because he's into racing. I think he has a kid that races or something.
Oh, he's a big late model guy. Like, he knows a lot of people in that world, and he's really into that racing. So it's definitely cool to see somebody, it's a stretch to call him high profile.
No, he's not. Are you kidding me? He does fucking YouTube fast food reviews now.
Yeah.
He is not high profile.
Yeah, you cannot.
He lives in a trailer. He is not fucking high profile anymore.
But the fact that he is coming from outside the racing world and allowing Tyler Erb to come on there and talk about his new Mexican girlfriend who speaks enough English, it's worth 2 hours of your time.
Oh my god. Okay. All right. Well,
I mean, these guys are just going off, and it's the most unfiltered, just natural, like kind of hanging out shit. And you know, Bubba knows his shit too, so that's definitely worth a listen. In fact, Kyle Armstrong, I put up a little ask us anything thing on Instagram, and that's one of the people who hit me up immediately. Was like, tell me what you think about that, and I thought it was great. So
you can put that link in the chat now because I'll be watching that later for sure.
It's pretty good. But like I said, there's a ton of short track racing happening leading into Speed Weeks. It all ties together. A lot of NASCAR stars racing in these different series. Of course, Chase Elliott is running that ASA race. There's a big race at Florence coming up this weekend, the Icebreaker. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is in that. And, of course, all the guys who usually run late models and modifieds and all that good shit. Ryan Newman, for example, he's running the NASCAR race down there. Of course, Ryan Preece is in there. There's a ton going on. And if you don't have the subscriptions to all these services, Flow, Dirt Vision, and all that, there are ways to watch. So just, again, hit us up, and we'll happily provide you with that because it's a great time to be a race fan. Really, this is the best time of the year because there's so much to watch every single night of the week leading into Daytona. So,
and you know what? If there's not something on you want to watch, just go on YouTube. You can watch some really kick-ass stop-motion racing videos like we watched this week on the show.
Oh, the video of the week segment's here. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm gonna have a shot and try and numb this one. Fuck me.
All right, folks. So, like I said last week, there are a lot of different ways people express their fandom of things, and this kid here, and I'm assuming he's a kid. I would think by his voice that if he's over 19 years old, I'd be shocked. At least I hope he's under 19 years old. Let's just say that. But yeah, the Outlaws versus the PA Posse in the stop motion Outlaw series. This was a 20-minute video that was. Yeah, we don't really need to give a play-by-play on this, but it starts off with...
Well, I would like you to explain this phenomena, though, because I know that, like, this is something that a lot of racing fans don't know exists.
Well, yeah, I mean, so... people making dioramas and, you know, model train sets and fucking this, that, and the other thing. It's been a thing for a while, and that also is involved in, like, the motorsports world. Yeah. You know, again, you can go on YouTube, you can go on Instagram. There are a handful of different accounts that do this type of stuff, whether it be actual stop motion stuff or just setting up dioramas and you know, making their own fake races or whatever. But it's a thing, and yeah, Mike from First 7-Inch Club sent over this video. Like I said,
thanks, Mike.
Thanks, buddy. Yeah.
Listen, if you didn't smile watching this, I don't think you got a fucking heart. You know, this was very stupid, very to me entertaining in like a quaint sense. So, you know, this is a fake race featuring real, you know, quote unquote real drivers.
Okay,
this is a real thing.
That was one of my questions. Was this based off a real race that he was recreating with his little toys, or was this something that he made up all by himself?
Port Royal is real.
Yes, I know that much. Yes.
The drivers and the cars that they're in are all real. The footage that he took from Dirt Vision and just plastered in the center of it, that's real.
Was real.
But this event is 100% fictional.
Okay. I didn't know if he was just recreating a race that had already happened, or he was just, you know.
No, ma'am.
Okay.
And if it is, then I don't know my Outlaw history, apparently, or I didn't recognize it, so.
Yeah.
I mean, the PA Posse Outlaws rivalry is very real, which is why I cracked up last week when he announced it, because of course that's what it fucking is, right?
Well, everyone they interviewed, the real interviews, I'm pretty sure they were all juggalos.
They really stuck it to Brad Sweet in this one. He definitely did not do so well in the heat races. Now I'm talking about it like it actually happened.
Yeah.
This is your world, Brian. Keep going, buddy.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, he hung up.
Oh, he hung up. Yeah, this video also starts out with him blaring Alice in Chains.
Got me so upset already, I'm kicking the fucking microphone cord out. But anyways, so listen, there was a whole video in the middle of this fucking race that explains the whole rivalry, and it is a real thing.
It is.
The PA Posse versus the Outlaws.
It's good footage. It's great footage.
Cool. It's cool, and it's one of those things. I mean, obviously the PA Posse is a thing, but I mean, I feel like this happens at any track where you get a big touring series and there's guys that run the same class every week. You're going to get the local heroes that want to show up and race and whatnot, but that's not what this is about. We don't need to talk about the actual racers. This is about a 20-minute full feature featuring die-cast sprint cars. So again, none of this is real as far as the actual results go, but this kid did a really good job of like writing his own scripts and coming up with scenarios for the drivers to get in, and you know, it starts right off. So Rob, you're the guy who watches more dirt than any of us. Is the whole Alice in Chains, Them Bones intro, is that something that's used in normal race broadcasts?
No, well,
okay.
Not recently anyway. I mean, Johnny Gibson does have a collection of butt rock songs to share with us, some that I love. I'm a big Alice in Chains fan, so I was very pleased for the video to kick off with that.
That immediately got me pumped. But what you're saying is it's in line with what the real races are like now.
Kinda. I wouldn't go that far, but yeah, it's there.
Okay.
It felt correct.
So it starts off with this intro. The kid introduces all the drivers and whatnot. And again, I'm not going to do play-by-play of all the heats, but they do. He does the full.
Don't.
He does the 3 heats. He does the dash. He does the B main. Does the A main. And the track itself, it looks like it was set up on like a kitchen table, and you can kind of see part of it. I think he put like fake rocks and stuff, but I think there's also just shit on the table. Like you don't really see much.
It was so distracting. There's like a dusty ass keyboard in the corner.
That's Pennsylvania, though. Really, it's pretty accurate. Like.
It's fair. Now, as far as the track itself goes, so I had a couple critiques. I mean, he did a decent job of using some of the contingency decals, did a dog shit job of making the Port Royal Speedway sign. Like, come on, dude.
God.
Like, you could fucking print that out yourself.
Couldn't print it out.
Drew it by hand. There's He taped like parts of the walls together with clear Scotch tape, which you can see.
Tape.
I mean, a lot of dirt tracks do that too, so it is what it is, you know.
And I feel like he could have used real dirt here. Like, come on, you could
there
do
needed to be some dirt.
You could do a little fake water truck that goes out between the heats and water.
Yeah.
Is it down? You could add to this production. Kick in some production value for this man.
I think he didn't want to get his.
He didn't want his toys
diecast dusty.
Yeah. Those things are fucking. That's like $15 a pop, man. Those 410 diecast, even the old ones, they're fucking expensive, man.
Yeah, I see him at the races and whatnot, but I got some comments about those. So the first heat is nothing happens. The second heat, there's a massive pile-up where they have multiple replays from different angles of these cars rolling over, and the line that he says is, flips really destroy these cars, and he just cuts to a shot of the car looking exactly the same way as it did before the wreck. That stuff was killing me. I mean, at least pop the fucking wings off or something, you know? Like, he does later on in the main, a wheel falls off, which we'll get to. There is a slow motion. Yeah. There's a slow motion replay of Brad Sweet getting into the wall in the third heat. He gets like pushed into the wall by Donnie Schatz, apparently. They do the 4 wide salute, but the track is so narrow that you can barely fit all the cars on there.
Yeah. It happens, yeah.
They used the Metallica intro and everything. Like, I don't know. It was just hilarious to me. And then in the main event, Brad Sweet wins it, and Danny Dietrich's wheel falls off, and he flips, and I don't know, man. I was just dying laughing at this. I thought the whole thing was hilarious. But Rob, I know it pissed you off, so get the poison out. Let's hear it.
I mean, you've already kind of heard it. It's just like, why the fuck am I watching this? You know, like.
Because it's hilarious. It's hilarious and weird. You can't just watch cool race cars doing shit all the time. Sometimes you want to see some other weird nonsense. No. I kind of read this as this guy's attempt to be a color commentator, because you could tell he really got into it.
Yeah, I feel like he has dreams of being an announcer.
That's what I read out of it.
I collected from this whole video.
He does this funny thing where, like, he's actually okay at it. He has his cadence down. It's very clear he, like, you know, recorded them separately because it's not actually happening, you know. But so of course that's how he did it. But he'll do this thing where it's like, and Brad Sweet into turn 2, and he flips over. And it's just like, he has that little cadence like every time, you know. And he jumps the cushion. It's like, nobody. Well, I guess there is some people in Pennsylvania that talk like that, but like, fuck me, like, it just. You can do that once in a while, I think. You know, this is just me giving, as a fellow racetrack announcer for a fictional racetrack, I would say that, like, you know, just save that for when it really matters. But I read this just as, like, him trying to put together a resume and see how it feels and that sort of thing, you know, because, you know, a lot of people do get their start doing shit like that. I don't know anybody in the media world who got started on that, but on this particular thing, but it's possible. You know, it's fucking possible, man.
It's the future now. So
I did. I mean, shit.
through.
I
interviewed to be the announcer at Seekonk once, so they let anybody do this. And if you have something to show them, you might get the job. So who knows? You know, kudos for this guy going out there and doing it. But yeah, there's no fucking way I'm ever watching this again.
Well, I'm gonna find some other good ones later in the season. So my goal, again, I like showing cool, interesting videos, but I also want to show some really oddball, weird shit.
Well, and this is like, found it, buddy. This is
I want to find some more stuff. Like, I've been really trying to find some good fan cam footage of, like, in the pits, and I haven't found a good video. There is a. And I don't know, I feel eerie watching it. There's somebody that brought a fan cam to Daytona, and it was the weekend Dale died, and like there's
yeah.
pre-race footage in the garage and stuff, and it's
I've seen
eerie.
that.
Like
It's good.
yeah, it's worth a watch. But I don't know if I want to watch after the show. But regardless, so anyway, this kid is going to his whole media deal that Rob just talked about. I did look at his YouTube page, and he does a lot of those like video essay type things on sprint car racers and whatnot. So.
Yeah.
I don't think he's made one of these videos in over a year. Like I think he did the series and that was it. But he's made a lot of other stuff.
He clearly has
Gotta
knowledge.
wait for the glue to dry.
That's true. That's true. He does have
Also-
knowledge too, so I'll give him that. Like he knows what he's talking about.
Also, his username is SlideJobDom, which sounds like a username for like his fetish group or something. I don't know.
Hey, listen,
No.
that's a dirt term, okay? Just because Junior used it once and people made horny jokes about it, like slide job's a whole thing.
Well, Dom
And,
is also
also
a sex
Dom,
term.
yeah.
slide job's Dom.
It was,
Oh, yeah,
it was the
that
back
one.
half that we were
it
thinking
was-
about.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the combination together really.
that's fair. Okay, so I loved it. Rob hated it. Ashley, you're the tiebreaker.
I gotta side with Rob.
Yeah.
Well, you both have horrible taste.
I think hate
Yeah.
is a strong word, but yeah,
I
this
didn't
is
hate it. I just.
it really turned some parts of my fucking brain fired up that I didn't need to. It made me feel weird. So
Okay, so this is me. This is you telling me that I'm never gonna show you the other weird shit that I watch on YouTube because if you don't like this, you'll hate
oh,
some
you
of the other
can.
stuff.
I'm all, keep sending it over, bud. But I'm just telling you that you might not get the sunny reception that you're expecting. But I'm a glutton for punishment. Keep it coming, please. Bye.
We'll find some other good ones for later in the season, but for next week we have a pretty on the nose video of the week. I found a little 20-minute behind the scenes video, and I think it's from ESPN, but it's basically some just behind the scenes footage of before and after Davey wins the 92 500. Nice little, getting us revved up for the 500 next weekend. Not very long, so that'll be on the YouTube video of the week playlist once the show is over, so you can check that out. And with that, Rob has to get to a dinner. Like I said, there's no real. We already talked about the racing you can watch this weekend, and next week we'll have lots to talk about for the 500. But for now, you can follow us on Meet Me at Applebee's on Instagram, Meet Me at the Bees on Twitter. I am Speedway Screens on all the things, and SpeedwayTSJ.etsy.com for the store. He and Ashley did not change her screen name yet.
It's the same as
So,
last week.
Same as always.
You can
Snake Mountain True Love.
Yeah.
find her there. Rob,
Good
I know
boy.
you just made your official public announcement of your tour coming up in the next
That's
few
right.
weeks.
Yeah, These Wild Plains and Charlie Marie are hitting the road coming up here. If you live in I won't go through the full details of it, but if you live in Philadelphia, Warren, Rhode Island, Brooklyn, New York, Charlotte, North Carolina, Richmond, Virginia, or Charlottesville, we got a fucking show coming for you in March. You can go to These Wild Plains anywhere on the internet or my own page too. I've been posting about it. If you want more details about it, really excited to get out there and play with Charlie. If you haven't heard her, she is one of the best singers I've ever heard in my life. And my band's okay too. But we'll be playing 2 full sets for backing her up. It's going to be awesome in all those cities, and there's more to come after that. But this is the first little foray into the world for our little party, and we're going to have us a good time, particularly at the Thirsty Beaver in Charlotte. But I'll talk more about those dates as we get closer. But yeah, if you want to check us out, These Wild Plains or Charlie Horsey on Instagram for Charlie Marie, give us a follow.
Yeah. And with that, looks like our check is here. So thank you again for joining us at Applebee's, and we will talk to you next week.
Yes, sir.